Cool, right, this is Mike from the Mike James Rock Show. This is Blake. How's it going, man?
Fantastic, Mike.
Cool. You're on tour, on a massive tour, like UK and Europe as well.
Yeah.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah, this is only our second day, so I'm pumped.
It started a bit weird because you started in France and then jumped over to the UK.
And we missed the France show.
Oh, did you?
Not intentionally, but
okay.
Flight booking mishap, so we missed that. And so we started in Brighton yesterday.
Yeah, how was that for you?
It was fun, man. These shows are going to be so cool. A huge band like Amon Amarth just in these little clubs. Like,
it's a very
for the fans,
tour,
it's so cool.
Yeah.
For us, it's fun. I'd rather play a packed little room full of the people that really want to be there than a bigger spot that's, you know, not totally full, or the people are like, oh, I could just get an $8 ticket. I don't care.
Yeah.
So it's fun, man. Everybody's ravenous.
And the venues get really hot and sweaty, and you're right in everyone's faces. Whereas I guess some of the bigger tours you could get on, there's a crash barrier and all sorts in the way.
Yeah, there's always a barrier. Although I wouldn't say that hot and sweaty is an asset.
Well, maybe. On a night like tonight, it's a bit nippy out.
Yeah.
Last time I caught up with you was a Download. How was the rest of the year since then, man? Because Download, you guys seem to be buzzing off the back of that.
I mean, it's just been nonstop. It's just ridiculous. Like, well, the last tour we did was the Arch Enemy Creator tour in the U.S.
Right. Okay.
And then we.
Because that came over here as well. Like,
yeah.
just
Then
before Christmas.
And we didn't do that leg.
No.
Just like we're trying to get a record finished, and we keep getting all these insane tour offers that are impossible to decline. And we did Download, came home, wrote the album, left for that tour, then came back and started tracking it. And now, as soon as we get back from this, we'll finish it up.
So you're hoping to release like imminently, or is it?
Yeah, it's going to be this summer.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
How's the writing process been? Because you rattled through the first sort of 2 albums really quickly. They came out almost yearly concessions.
And that was our goal with this one, and we wrote it. We got it all ready and written. It's just the powers that be that make it really tough between booking schedules and timing and tour timing, and then everybody's availability being the same and money coming at the right time to pay for it and all that. So
I'm guessing you prefer to be out on the road anyway than stuck in a studio, or is it a band that kind of prefer?
I like the road better than the studio. Like, it's funny, you'd think the studio is where you kind of get to relax, but I stress the fuck out in the studio. It's like everything's under the microscope. Every riff is like, I heard it, sweet, or I heard it, and you're like, come on, man, I put the riff right. It's like you gotta work
that lifestyle there, surely.
Oh, and that's what's so cool about this record. And I mean, the writing process is like this. It's been a whirlwind for this band, but our goal for this record. And for every record since our first one is to get more organic and real with it, you know. And like the first 2 producers that we worked with, they liked to stick with that modern grid edited sound, you know, where they're snapping things around and making sure visually everything lines up so it sounds extra tight, but
digital.
Exactly, and it's something that we've. You know, it's like byproduct of a little bit of Pro Tools and the whole situation, but you don't have to do it that way. And that's like the production team we got this time is awesome because they're using that technology, but we're doing full takes of everything, and we're not editing things up. It's like, yeah, if there's a fuck up, we'll punch it or whatever, but it's not all just mechanized, you know? Because when I hear that anymore. Or always, it's always been like all my favorite records are the old ones, you know. Yeah. And I think part of that is there's that real natural energy and sound of that human push pull. Like when it's all glossed like that, to me, I just hear it. It's just like shh. I don't know. It's like it just slides right by, you know. Yeah, but even in the most, if you have like a tech death band, it's like it's like. Mild to me because it's all just so even and glossed that you might have a dude squealing like a pig on the other end and insane arpeggios, but it's still just like everything's so even that it doesn't feel musical. And I feel like the more that is something that people can do in their bedroom is just like sit there and punch one note at a time, put it in the right spot.
I'm guessing it's also quite hard to emulate live as well because people are going, oh, it doesn't sound like it does on the album. It's not so crisp when it's live. You've got those mess ups and that's what makes live fun. I mean, like I won't mention bands we toured with, like a band that opened us for us recently. Like they had their entire album playing through their monitors and they were playing along to it. And it's like, you know, people go see sporting events, for example, because they don't know what's going to happen. You know, if you're going and playing along to something pre-recorded
and it's exactly off your album, there's no fun there. There's no danger at all, you know? And that's part of what rock and metal are about, is some danger of everything falling apart and going off the rails, you know?
That's the exciting bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you feed off the crowd, and if you're vice versa.
Exactly.
And if it all goes to pot for a couple of riffs or something, you know, the crowd laugh or join in.
Yeah. Fuck it. Another beer.
As they say, that's rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's just, it seems like as it's easier to... Also, my other philosophy on this is like, when you edit all that shit together like that, there's no craft in the playing of the instrument. There's admittedly a craft in writing and constructing that. But as an instrumentalist, like, why practice guitar? Why be a guitar player if you're just gonna fix it later? Like, just get a keyboard and it'll MIDI out all your drums and all of your guitars and stuff, you know? There's no point. It's like if and I'll admit I'm a dinosaur that wants to hear like a real person playing an instrument, but I just feel like what's the point otherwise, you know?
Because there's emulators now where it's digital, but it emulates an analog kind of sound, like a valve amp or something like that. It's like, and play a valve amp, surely. I
mean, you know, and that was always my philosophy also, and we're still doing that. Like, I'm tube amps for life. And then you see all these things like a Kemper, and then they're modeling these sounds, and then you break your back, like, and your budget renting all this shit and carrying it all overseas or whatever, and it's like, man, a 5-pound little box right now that I already own and has my sound in it. Sounds good.
It's crazy. I used to DJ and like carry boxes and boxes of records, and now I can turn up with a tablet with like 4 or 5 times the amount of tunes.
Hey guys, like, I'm the DJ. Plug in your tablet.
I guess it works. Like, technology's great in some ways, in some ways it's not.
But it's the same thing. It's because it's that easy that this world of metal and rock is dwindling and suffering so hard. You know, it's because, I don't know, there isn't that lack of predictability or like individuality and stuff, you know? It's weird.
What advice would you give to bands then to, like, sort of jump out at people, to give them their individuality, so it isn't so Pro Tools, or they, you know, the way they dress or look on stage? How would newer bands sort of stand out for you to like, pay attention?
It's freaking hard, man. Just because there's so many too, it's like you're competing with a bajillion other people, you know. And it's like, to me, but I think the biggest pitfall of bands that we play with or see, or that over the years, is everybody very closely emulates something else that they like, you know. And it's like, you know, that's the temptation to do that, but again, like, what's the point? You know, like, I love like tech death and black metal and all those really aggressive forms of metal, and that's like some of my favorite stuff, but I'm not gonna out extreme anybody. Nobody is. Like, go ahead, add a 10th fucking string on your guitar if you want, but you're not gonna be any more extreme than anybody else has already done. You know, it's like, songs are what's important, and and that's been my philosophy for this album more than ever, is that songs are so important, because it goes back to like technicality and playing and riffing and musical ability and shredding doesn't matter, because it can be replicated on a computer anymore. The one thing that a computer can't do is write a good song that's going to stick with you, you know? The computer can make you sound like a superhero, but like at the end of the day, if you don't have something that's got some substance, it's just not going to go anywhere, you know?
So, talking of the songs for the new album, who does the writing? Is it like lyrically and the storytelling of the songs that you've written for this new album? Is there themes towards it or anything? Yeah,
and Jill's the lyricist. You know, I'm more of a filter, if anything. But it's like she writes all the lyrics. I wrote 90% of the songs, and then. And I help her a lot with the melodies, but lyric concepts that's all her. And you know, I don't know if you've heard her concept for our first three albums is the maiden, mother, and crone phases of the triple goddess.
Right.
And so we're now on the third phase, being the crone, and so there will be some of that thematically throughout the album, for sure.
So if you've themed 3 albums, how do you progress from that? Do you go onto another theme and write another 3 albums, like way off in the future or something, or are you not even thinking that far ahead yet?
Every time I cross that road, I'm like, I'll worry about that later. It'll probably, you know, I bet our 4th album will. Every one of our albums is a strange progression from the last, and that the first two I don't think sound very much like each other, and this third one is going to be another step, you know. And that comes back to my nerdery of, all right, well, I keep making the same album over and over again also, exactly. You know.
Progression all the time.
And granted, that's what people want, you know, and most fans like, all right, after 15 years of making that same album, all of a sudden you finally have a fan base. But
yeah,
it's like, this is too hard to do, just traveling and touring and being in a band and always on the run and broke, to not enjoy and like be proud of the music that you're writing. You know,
it's your byproduct, isn't it? It's what you make to get you on the road.
Yeah, but it's your one creative outlet that you have any control over. Yeah. You know, it's like I don't control who we tour with, when we tour, or you know what vehicle we're in, or you know how much money is spent on anything. Like, you know, the only thing I get to really have as our legacy is, you know, the music and you know, and that's why also we take such pride in our videos also. Cool. Is that
the videos are,
it's like, you know, why we don't, that's the other piece of what we have to pass on. That's what's like, and when this band's dead and gone, we'll have videos and we'll have records, you know. And so we don't want to do crappy performance videos with like a camera, and then it's gone, you know. And you're like, all right, that's just gonna get grazed over like everything else. And that's another part of sticking out, is everything has to be a big effort and a big push of the boundaries of what you're capable of and what your resources are able to do for you. You know, if you take the easy road, that's the same road everybody else is taking.
You've got to challenge yourselves at the end of the day when you keep it fresh. Would you want to work with, say, Lemmy again, or an artist from those legendary sort of bands that have been around? Is there anyone else that's sort of out there that you'd want to work with?
Oh,
or God. Even work with Lemmy again?
I mean, Lemmy's amazing.
He is indeed.
You know, we're having, and I mean, if the opportunity came and he was into it, we wouldn't bat an eye. But of course, like, it's fun to mix it up. And Jill being such a hilarious personality, and I don't know how she knows so many people, but you know, like there are. I mean, my main goal of all time is to get Rob Halford to do something with us. We exist. Hey, Robbie, someday, please.
You never know.
You never know, man. And so, but you know what? We got to write the right songs first, I guess.
Yeah. And hope your schedules all work together and he likes what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
As always, man, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Hopefully we'll catch up with you once the album's out. We can talk more about it in depth then once we've all heard it. Thanks very much for taking time out, man.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Mike.
Cheers.
Appreciate it, brother.
Alright, this is Mike from the Mike James Rock Show, and this time we're sat down with the Defiled.
Hello.
Evening, gentlemen. How's it going?
Good.